best batting average in the Big 12. Talking with Kenny Gajewski this week, they need the bats to wake up. These are critical non-conference games now for them. Tonight with Oklahoma, and then a couple of weeks from now with Texas. And for Sam Landry and the Sooners, the senior right-hander spent most of her career at Louisiana and hoping to continue the trend of transfers that help the Sooners win championships.
Yeah, and she's kind of reinvented herself since arriving in Norman. She's got a really good drop ball. She's going to be in the mid-60s. She misses a lot of barrels in the zone with that late sharp break of the drop, and when you've got a really good defense, one of the best in the country, it makes your job a lot easier in the circle, and that's what Landry's going to be doing against the Pokes.
Talon Edwards is the junior from Moore, Oklahoma, down in OU's neighborhood. 326 on the season. And a ton of experience in this stadium. These are the only two programs in the country that have been to the World Series for the last 5 years in a row. For Oklahoma, that's a streak of 8 straight trips to the World Series, with 6 national championships during that stretch.
These are two programs that pride themselves in the success, obviously, on the diamond, but you know, there's a lot of great softball fans in the state of Oklahoma. USA Softball here, USA Softball Hall of Fame.
Here's the 3-0 to Edwards, and that's in for a strike. Tatum Stolting behind the plate. Dustin Douglas at first, Keith Kearney at third, our umpiring crew tonight.
A lot of energy from Edwards after taking that walk. Yelling over to her dugout. It's one of the things that Oklahoma State really has to work on. Not a lot of walks as a team this year. To work on getting that on-base percentage up as well as walk. That's just the 88th walk of the year for that offense.
And here is Tia Warsaw. They are coming off of a disappointing series in the desert. They dropped 2 of 3 to Arizona. In fact, their last 15 games, they are 8-7. But Kenny Gajewski really liked the work at practice this week. They felt good coming in. Of course, you know, in a rivalry game, anything goes. They went down to Norman last year and took 2 out of 3 for the first time since 1997.
Yeah, that was a huge deal for Kenny Gajewski in the program. And for as long as he's been at Oklahoma State, he has had to battle Patty Gasso and the juggernaut of Oklahoma.
Once it foul. One of the highlights for Poke fans in this rivalry is 3 years ago on this field, the first Big 12 championship for Oklahoma State, and they beat OU to get it. Here's the 1-2. Snap foul. Cowgirls come in at 23-11, ranked 18th in the country. A pivotal game for them because they are on the host bubble. Now's the time of year we start talking about RPIs and who's going to be a top 16 or a top 8 seed to host in the tournament.
Well, you mentioned it. This is a resume builder all the way around, both these teams. In fact, Patty Gasso mentioned it to us in our call with her yesterday, saying, hey, well, first off, I had to educate my team on what RPI is because they're so young. But she's like, we're at a 9. I want to be at a 4 or 5 by the time the season's over. Over to Abgayani, over to Sanders, but just not in time. Tia gets down that baseline very quickly.
Here's the number 3 hitter, Rosie Davis. She's been their best hitter the last couple of weeks. And comes in on a 5-game hitting streak. She's reached safely in the last 10. Just missed away. Nope, check that. We're going to call that a strike, 1-1. Rosie, the sophomore out of Readyville, Tennessee. over the last 10 games has scored 7 times, driven in 6.
There was potential for Emmerling to be able to make that tag, but if Worsop doesn't go to the back of the bag, there's a good chance she's out.
So a run on the board for the Cowgirls without a hit here through the first 3 batters. Landry will try and pull it back together. Here's the 4-hitter, Amanda Hassler.
Wanted to play, and we've talked about it in previous Oklahoma games at Love's Field, is that this is a young team. They graduated a lot of experience in seniors last year. It's a ball that goes towards Nelly, and you can go off of that glove. Makimo Marinas is a bobble there with Nelly, but she comes around to score.
So back-to-back errors and a couple of unearned runs on the board for Oklahoma State, and still just the 1 out. Very uncharacteristic for an Oklahoma defense.
Extremely. Just 20 errors coming into this game, a .979 fielding percentage. But again, we kind of mentioned it. This is the environment Patty Gasso wants this young team with not a lot of experience playing on this field to feel. 9,000 fans. The pressure. There's quite a few of those young athletes out there for Oklahoma that have not played in this environment in this stadium.
Knowing what they lost from last year, their top 3 pitchers and 5 starters out on the field, they didn't play as difficult a non-conference, so they could come together, work together, and figure each other out. They've picked up wins in a couple of their SEC series, coming off a loss at home in the Tennessee series. So these big game environments are something that they're still getting acquainted with a little bit. And oh, by the way, their next 4 series in league play, all against ranked opponents. So 12 games against high RPI teams still to come. There's the 1-2 to Carly Godwin.
Agbayane with a really nice reach. Good read on that, but just enough on Godwin's bat to be able to drop that out onto the green. And Godwin's one of the best hitters on this Oklahoma State team. Jammed up a little bit, but she finishes her swing, and that's the key. Gets that ball to float out to the outfield, gets it beyond. Agbayane picks up the first base hit for Oklahoma State.
A rocky start for the Sooners. Down a couple, 2 on with 1 out. Already some bullpen activity. Here's the 6th hitter to the plate, Megan Delgadillo. Big transfer from Cal State Fullerton. Playing in her 241st career game tonight.
Delgadillo's just got plus speed. Had led off for the majority of the year for Oklahoma State.
There's Kirsten Deal out in the pen, getting ready just in case, and that is just outside the line, foul ball. Let's see if Kenny's going to want them to take another look at it, or did it hit the glove of McEnroe Marinas down the line? Otherwise, it appeared to jump foul.
Yeah, it was definitely to the foul side of the bag. I think Kenny Gajewski is asking if they were sure that didn't potentially go off the glove. Remember, a lot of times it's where the ball is.
Another 1-2 to Delgadillo. 2-2. Oklahoma State, no strangers to the SEC. This is their 7th game. They're 4-2 against the SEC. They still have Texas coming up in a couple of weeks. We'll have that matchup for you on the ESPN networks. Right back down with runners on the corners.
Good job by Landry to recover. I like the fact that she doesn't let that error earlier in the inning get to her. A comebacker immediately, she makes the turn. No thought about it. She knows where she's going. It's going to be tough to try to turn a double on Delgadillo, however.
Can Claire Tim pick up that runner at third? Claire's hitting under 200 this year, has 6 RBI. What a big moment here for the junior from Buena Park, California. Runner goes, the throw doesn't get through. Agbayani steps in front of the base, and a swipe for Delgadillo. Her 20th of the season. So now Tim, 2 in scoring position. She's hitting .308 this year with 2 outs.
Kenny Gajewski said he's really liked the way she's come on as of late. Slow start. She had a big home run against Arizona to lead a comeback in game 1 of that series.
One-two from Landry. Just missed it low, 2-2. Couple of runs in on just 1 hit. There were a couple of errors. There was a walk. Full count.
Well, to your point, a couple of errors, an uncharacteristic walk by Landry. Landry coming into the game had only walked 14 batters on the year, so that was just the 15th walk, but it was to the leadoff. And got things started.
Yeah, both the runs unearned.
That she does need to work on is trying to limit those free passes, but she's high velocity up near 70 miles an hour. She can make the ball disappear. Just really good leadership and experience in the circle for the Cowgirls.
Already a strong resume. Wins over Florida State, Nebraska, Texas Tech, and Arizona this year. And the transfer from Washington gets her first taste of Bedlam against Cassidy Pickering, who moves up into the leadoff spot for the first time all season. Patty Gasso said, we want a bigger presence, and she provides that. And a couple of youngsters up front behind her, McEnroe Marinas, Ella Parker, and then Gabby Garcia, who's in the conversation along with McEnroe Marinas for Freshman of the Year honors in the SEC. It's been a good class around the conference.
Very good. A lot of great young talent, including Pickering in her sophomore year. Big part of that national championship they won last year.
She's in the Player of the Year short list with the start that she's had. 446 on the season, 11 home runs, 38 runs batted in, and has a hit in 13 straight games.
What's impressive is her power. She's one of the home run leaders on this team, but she also has that batting average, highest on the team at 446. Slug percentage over 900, leading the team.
Texas, also with a terrific eye as the count goes 3-2. She's third in the country in walks.
See the way that Ruby has all that power, gets out to the end of that circle. Really good form.
3-2 pitch. Fouled off.
Ruby has that little bit of a tendency on that last video you saw to throw it that weight forward, and what that does is help get that ball to roll off the table. Both these pitchers tonight have elite drop balls.
Well, the bedroom rivalry over the years, the advantage to Oklahoma, and a lot of it due to that woman right there, Patty Gasso, now in her 31st season, has a chance on paper to be the best that ever was, chasing a 9th national championship For a single coach, that's unprecedented. Her 8 tied with Arizona legend Mike Candrea. And of course, earlier this spring, it was announced that Patty will be the U.S. national team coach, leading us into the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. Softball returns likely for the next 2 Olympiads, right, Michelle?
So.
32 is in Australia?
Yes, in Brisbane, Australia. So hope within the softball community to get back-to-back games and get that momentum going again to keep it on the program permanently.
Something for these young players to look forward to. McEnroe Marinas chases the rise at the eyes, 1-2. Didn't play last year due to an injury and has come out strong. From Hawaii, trying to follow in the footsteps of Jocelyn Alo. 2 down.
This is a drop ball in the outer half, and on that particular count, you got to protect, especially early in the game. So Malin is going to throw that drop ball to elevate a little bit at the belt.
Ruby's about 52% drop, 30% rise. That's where she gets most of her swing and miss. And the off speed and the changeup works in progress. Here's Ella Parker. Playing through some lower leg issues. Spending more time this year as a DP, not so much in the field. Numbers have dropped a bit in SEC play for Ella, who was a 3rd-team All-American a year ago and a member of the All-Women's College World Series team.
Yeah, just massive numbers in her freshman campaign. Really did a great job in the outfield. Stole a lot of bases as well. She's one of those athletes that is sneaky quick. You don't really expect her to take off when she's on first base, but that leg injury definitely hampering her.
Falls behind 0-2. Ruby tried to nibble low and away. Kenny Gajewski just loves her demeanor. Walks into the office, says she wants the ball every day. Slow roller to the left side, and Parker able to leg it out. Infield hit for Ella.
Well, and that's the speed that we talked about with Ella Parker, is that she gets down the line, especially from that left side, and with Megan Bloodworth being deep in this particular count, she has the opportunity to beat it out and does. Really good turnover rate, and one of the keys as well is that she gets to that bag throw a little bit low.
I love the smile down at first base with Tiare Jennings, the first base coach. That may have been the lowest exit velo of any ball she's hit in her career. But wheels to get down to first.
Well, the respect to the middle infielders playing deep.
Two out base runner. Here's Gabby Garcia. 1-1.
Well, and Oklahoma State really shifted right now. Megan Bloodworth, the shortstop, is well up the middle. Rosie Davis, second baseman, is pulled over. Godwin as well, the first baseman, pulled over and deep back. Taylon Edwards, the third baseman, up and well off the line. So you know that they are just challenging Garcia on that inner half.
Remember in Clearwater, Kenny had the defensive shifts with like 5 infielders and 3 on the left side.
Yep, 2 outfielders, pulled in an outfielder.
Willing to use those analytics to an advantage.
Well, he's a baseball guy. He played baseball at Oklahoma, won a national championship there. He actually worked for Patty Gasso for a while with the maintenance crew. So there's a lot of commonality between these two programs. So Gajewski loves to play those shifts. More so on the baseball. We don't see it as much on softball.
The 1-2 to Garcia. Reaches for it to protect. Not a play. Out of Chandler, Arizona. See Kenny. Of course, he was on Tim Walton's Florida staff that won a national championship here and trying to bust through for the Pokes. They've been oh so close over the years. Garcia lifts that one out to left, and Warsop is there. Side retired, one left on, one in the books. Bedlam, the RPI, really good strength of schedule. And still ahead of them on their schedule, obviously tonight. You got Texas, and then I think for the Pokes, you get hot at the Big 12 tournament. Maybe you pick up a win over Arizona, Texas Tech. Now that resume looks pretty strong.
Yeah, this is a team that's been a little bit up and down throughout the year, but they haven't played their best softball yet.
Yeah, yet being the operative. Kenny was, you know, he's always honest. He was frustrated when we talked to him earlier this week after their losses in Arizona, and looking for them to still grasp the Cowgirl way this season. Still time. This is what they want to, the list they want to get off of. The most appearances without a title. Sandy Fisher, of course, too, a long time at Oklahoma State. And then there's Nebraska and Tennessee as well on that list. And a strikeout for Landry to open up the top of the second, one down.
Second consecutive strikeout for Landry on that changeup. She throws a really good changeup. She throws it about 23% of the time. Didn't really use it much through the first part of that first inning, but look at the spin on that pitch. There's so much rotation on it, ability to miss barrels.
Laying down the bunt is Bloodworth. Landry got her. And after a 30-pitch first inning, boy, would Sam love a quick 1-2-3.
Well, on Landry, that's why that error was so uncharacteristic in that first inning, because normally very steady with the glove, a very good arm, loves to field the ball, and Bloodworth in that 9-hole tries to put that changeup down. It's a little bit too hard, goes right to Landry, and she just guns it over to first.
2 outs, back to the top of the order, and Talon Edwards reached on a walk her first time up. For a strike, 1-1.
Landry really turns over that drop ball. Great spin on that. She's worked very hard with pitching coach Jen Rocha to make that drop elite, one of the best in the game. She'll throw it about 26% of the time.
Pulled dog by Ani, and it is indeed a 1-2-3 inning, under 10 pitches for Landry. And the Sooner bats will go to work again when we come back. Semis. Just a remarkable stretch.
Truly. Well, Kenny Gajewski has even said, Patty Gasso, it's a gold standard. The program that she's built, now the new stadium down in Norman, Loves Field.
Got the bronze statue outside.
That's right, that's right. That was unveiled earlier this year.
That was a big move.
Yes.
Here's Sydney Sanders, a senior out of San Marcos, California. Only senior on the roster.
Sanders in her 3rd season at Oklahoma, started out a great freshman campaign at Arizona State University.
Swing and a miss there.
Everybody clap your hands.
She's been flirting most of her career with about half of her hits were home runs and extra bases. For a good stretch, it was all or nothing, and she had some clutch bombs for them.
Power, lots of power. Batting average elevated, 329 this year, but you're right, last year there were struggles, but then hard off the bat.
Gets under that one, out to center field. Delgadillo has it, one down. Hey, we got some good Sunday night baseball coming your way. Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers hosting the Cubs. Action gets underway 7 Eastern on ESPN, and the coverage begins at 6 Eastern with baseball tonight. Sunday night countdown. The defending national champs against what looks to be a much improved team on the north side of Chicago. Abby Dayton sends that one out to left. Warsop is there, and a couple of long fly balls, 2 out.
Second baseman, number 50,
Here comes Ailana Agbayani. All Big 12 performer last year at BYU. Prior to that, all West Coast Conference performer at BYU.
Way around a couple of different conferences.
Now the Cougs joining the Cowgirls in the Big 12.
That's right.
Oklahoma and Texas make the move to the SEC. Texas #1 in the country. The Sooners #2. They are also in first and second place in the SEC. And we will have 2 of the 3 games this weekend. Texas hosting Tennessee, the Lady Vols, winners of the last 2 SEC regular seasons. Malin with some good smoke there, 2-1. Might recognize the Agbayani name. Her dad, Benny, played in the Bigs with that same number 50.
The biggest difference.
With 2 outs for Agbayani.
Agbayani just so good. Can't be fooled by the fact that she's hitting 7th in this lineup. In any other lineup, she'd probably be in the 3 or 4 hole, but just a lot of power. She's well off the dish, but gets a pitch on the inner half, keeps her hands inside the ball, foot down, head down, barrels that up, goes Oppo. One of the best in the business at hitting the ball the opposite way. Warsop was pulled in, that ball to the wall. Agbayani with a big double.
First runner in scoring position of the night for OU. And a conference as Carrie Eberle goes out to talk to her pitcher. And Patty Gasso, a word with Agbayani, and Bella Emmerling, the junior transfer catcher from North Carolina. She's got 9 home runs and 28 runs batted in this season.
Yeah, Emmerling is one of those kids that you just cannot look at the batting average, just a .253, but those 9 home runs, as you mentioned about Beth, just so much power, a .375 batting average, a slug close to 600.
How can you not love OU Nana? Come on. Great atmosphere tonight here at Devon Park.
Amazing.
For Bedlam.
Well, and
expecting what, 9,000 to 10,000 for a regular season midweek game.
Trying to break the record. I believe it was set here last year, Oklahoma, Texas.
Road to the Women's College World Series will start May 11th with the selection show. The 43rd World Series here starting on May 29th. To the right side, and no damage done. Godwin steps on the bag, 1 stranded, and we've played 2-0 folks for this OU defense. Ruby Malin has kept their bats quiet, and it's back to work here for the Cowgirls. 2-3-4 coming up. That, by the way, was the first error of the season on the pitcher, Sam Landry.
Yeah, this is an Oklahoma team that prides themselves with their defense. Patty Gasso was a great defensive player herself. And with a drop ball pitcher like Sam Landry, you know there's going to be a good amount of pitches put in play. You got to be ready for it. Entirely new infield except for Sid Sanders.
Popped up foul. Yeah, I mean, you think of this infield, you had Hansen behind the plate, Hodge at second, TJ at short, Brito at third. And then in left and center field, Boone and Coleman, the most successful class in the history of the sport.
Yeah, just in every aspect of the game as well. It's some of the best defensive plays you've ever seen. Ability to score runs, pitchers.
Yeah, Kelly Maxwell, Nicole May, Keeney. And out to left, and Maya Bland, who gets the start out there tonight, makes the play. 1 down. Activity out in the bullpen for Oklahoma. Earlier we saw Kirsten Deal. That is the right-hander Isabella Smith. And here's Rosie Davis. Low with the drop ball, 1-0.
Yeah, Sam Landry just really starting to continue to mix up those speeds to Oklahoma State. Down, hard drop, change up at about 52 miles an hour.
Learning to live in the spotlight, and what can be a fishbowl in Norman with the success that Oklahoma has had over the years. Patty Gasso telling us that Sam is really embracing that responsibility. Some good depth on this pitching staff. Star freshman Audrey Lowry.
Yeah, very good left-handed pitcher.
Yep, getting the ball in big matchups.
Lowry had a little bit of an injury, so she had taken about 3 weeks off, came back through a little bit in the last weekend's games, which was important, so she is available and ready should the Sooners need her. It's a nice rise ball by Landry, who's been working primarily that drop ball and changeup.
Now Megan Delgadillo. Solo home run for Rosie Davis has extended the advantage for the Pokes. Slow roller to Nelly at third. Got it. Side retired. A couple of errors, and then Rosie Davis, the solo home run in the top of this inning, and Ruby Malin will go back to work. Has allowed a couple of Sooner hits through the first 2 innings. Just one base runner into scoring position so far. And it's 9 and then the top of the order coming up for the Sooners. Here's Maya Bland. 4 hits, scored 4 times in her last 8 games for the Sooners. Patty Gasso's been playing around quite a bit with her outfield. Not hesitant to move folks around based on matchups at the plate or, defensive changes that need to be made around the outfield. Bland's been out there. Dayton, Pickering, Hannah Core has had a stretch playing in the outfield as well. Foul back by Bland. Out of Ladera Ranch, California.
Bland starting with those hands a little bit lower. Oklahoma trying to make some adjustments off of Ruby, who throws that drop ball heavy in the zone. She'll also come back upstairs. Also will throw that drop on multiple levels. A lot of times you're looking at your knees, but Ruby is not afraid to throw that pitch at the belt.
Kenny telling us she's best when she is in attack mode. Arizona the other night, game 1, she had 8 strikeouts and 8 walks. But the ability to put it in the rear view mirror to be resilient. They've been good in close games this year. They've had a handful of comeback wins. And fouls it off.
That was a quality pitch on the inner half, but Bland so good at getting rid of that. And that's the key. Sometimes as a hitter, you just got to get rid of a pitch to live for one more pitch.
Lays off the rise, full count. It's the fourth 3-ball count through the... Hey, we got NWSL action coming your way on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. Sunday night, 7 Eastern. It's Bay FC and the Chicago Stars. That's the first free pass of the night, and that passes the bat to the top of the order. Pickering grounded back to the pitcher, first time up. Patty Gasso raves about how calculating Cassidy Pickering is. Does the homework, always has a plan when she steps into that batter's box.
And that's one of the keys. I mean, to be an elite professional hitter, you've got to know what you're hunting. You've got to have a plan to know what pitches you're looking for, what you're laying off of. And then you make those 2-strike adjustments. But when you get in a leverage count like this, a 2-0 count, having an idea of where you want to hunt.
Hitting .435 with runners on base this year. And the count goes 3-0. Look at that, her last 6 games, she's hitting .800.
Fire. Pickering, as hot as she has been lately, understands what she's looking for, and if she gets it, she has the green light. This pitch, you could just see she was expecting something on the inner half. She sees it, she gets it at the belt, and the year.
Ground ball to second, Davis is there, 1 down. So on her 100th career hit, it's a tater for Pickering. And it ends up being a costly walk leading off the inning to the 9-hitter.
Yeah, that's always the tough one. And you never want to lead off the inning with the walk, more or less to the number 9 hitter, especially with a potent offense like Oklahoma. They typically are one of the best in the country of making those walks come around to score.
Here's Ella Parker, the infield hit, her first time up. She had a home run in the Bedlam Series last year. And was absolutely electric in the postseason. In her very first Big 12 tournament here on this field, she was the most outstanding player. Some activity now for the Cowgirls. Katie Coots, sophomore righty. Parker taps that one foul down the line. because another dangerous hitter is due up, Gabby Garcia, who will bring the go-ahead run to the plate. Tying run now aboard.
Well, Oklahoma's been very disciplined in this inning. They have not really gone after Ruby's rise ball. They swung through it a little bit first time through the lineup. They know what they're hunting this time. Take a look at Malin's line. 3 hits given up, that 2-run home run. And really, when you look at her line for the year, it's been the base on balls that really have hampered her. That 2 walks in this game, 50 on the year, and a little over 123 innings.
Here comes the freshman from Chandler, Arizona. Had a stretch earlier this season with a home run in 5 straight games. Patty Gasso has really enjoyed watching her from an uncertain freshman in fall ball to maturity at the plate and at short. Fly ball out to right, 2 down. So for Ruby Malin, to your point, Smitty, almost as many walks as strikeouts her last 4 starts.
Yeah, when you're a power pitcher like her, you can't do your hitters favors by really being too careful around the zone or throwing too many non-competitive pitches. You have to attack, and you mentioned it, Kenny Gajewski said it, when she's in attack mode, she's typically at her best, but she's got to learn to really control those pitches, bring that drop ball up at times, and get that rise ball a little bit lower and get underneath of it to induce that swing and miss.
1-0 to Sid Sanders, swing and a miss. To make sure you're a host for a regional and a super regional, because here's the math. The home team wins 75% of the time. That's how you advance out of the regional. That's how you advance out of the super to get to the World Series.
Yeah, absolutely. The odds are against you. It's not impossible, but it definitely makes your job a lot easier when you're playing in front of your home folks.
And it's a rarity when unseeded teams make it that far. That's a fair ball. And Claire Tim with a 5-foot single.
You know, sometimes you rope the ball and it gets caught by the outfield, and then other times it doesn't go very far, but the job is done, and that just hits off the base of the plate and dribbles out. Landry almost gets her. That's the type of gun and fielder that Landry typically is, but Claire Tim, quick getting down the line.
Rachel Hathoot is on to run. I believe it was the great Crash Davis, Michelle, who said just one of those types of hit a week takes you from 250 to 300 batting average.
I was watching that movie just yesterday.
Classic.
It is a classic. You can't watch it enough.
Here's Michaela Rourke out of Frisco, Texas. Bull Durham, of course, the reference there. Rourke had a couple of home runs in the Bedlam series last year when the Pokes went into Norman and took 2 of 3. Oklahoma also lost its series to Texas, the Longhorns winning the Big 12 to knock OU off the top perch. Then the Sooners came back to win the Big 12 tournament, win the Natty.
A lot of competition out there, and I think that's the thing we're really seeing this year is just the amount of talent through the middle of conferences, through the mid-majors.
Low, 3-1. Second walk from Landry. So far for Sam, now working into the 4th inning, 4 hits. Just one of the 3 runs is earned. Another pinch runner out there at first base. This is Tara Vandewater. Both those hitters can re-enter. And here's Megan Bloodworth in the 9-hole. Looking to lay down a bunt, and a delayed steal is on for the Pokes. They'll swipe second and third.
Bella Emmeling behind the plate for Oklahoma. Does a really good job of framing up pitches. That ball squirts away just a little bit. And Hadhoot sees the opportunity to be able to pick up an additional 60 feet. Well, and that's big now because it gives Bloodworth the ability to hit away. She had been showing bunt. These extra 60 feet are always damaging at times when you give those up. Wild pitch pass ball.
Looking for their first hit with a runner in scoring position tonight. Swing and a miss. Now her 3rd year at Oklahoma State for the Alabama transfer. Having her best overall year at the plate. And that will stay fair. The throw down to first, and Sanders does not get a foot on the base. And they are loaded with the top of the order coming up.
Well, that's a difficult play for Nelly McEnroe-Marina. She's got to come in, throw off balance. Sid Sanders is going to come off the bag, because she also has to be worrying about what's happening to Hadhoot. Is she coming home? So she's got to do a little bit of a listen to her teammates, throw over to first, and it looked like Sid Sanders came off instead of stretching. Yeah, I think Sid Sanders needs to play that a little bit differently and try to stretch for that.
Bases loaded, nobody out, infield's in. Talon Edwards, a walk and a ground out to second. Cowgirls do not have a grand slam this season. Landry steps out to regroup. Speed's in for a strike.
That is a big-time pitch. Bases loaded, a 1-0 count. Come back with an off-speed and be able to throw that. That is well located.
Edwards snagged by Agbayani. Trying for the double play. Diving back in safely is Vandewater. 1 down.
What a great play by Agbayani to be able to make this diving catch. This absolutely saves at least 2 runs. Look at the way she's going to lay out, catch that, and then try to get the double play. But Garcia coming behind Vandewater.
Now it's Warsop.
When you can see the frustration, Talon Edwards just couldn't have hit that ball any better, and that's kind of been the story for Oklahoma State. A lot of Adams this year.
Swings through it. 0-2. Infield is staying in. See Rosie Davis in the background. The on-deck hitter homered her last time up. For Landry.
Really big strikeout for Landry. 0-2, just gets Warsop to chase that pitch down into the dirt. That pitch is not close to the zone, but Worsup is going to go right after it. You can see that ball, it starts mid-shin, just dives down into the dirt.
Number 4 on the night, and now the infield will go back to its regular depth here with 2 outs and the bases still loaded. Rosie has scored 2 of their 3 runs tonight. 4 for 7 on the season with the bases loaded.
Crowd not liking that call. Emmerling is one of the best catchers in the game of framing pitches. It's one of the things Patty Gasso talked a lot about. With a 2-0 leverage count for Davis.
That clips the corner, 2-1.
And that's a good pitcher's pitch. Landry looking the sharpest in this particular at-bat on a 2-0 pitch. A competitive mindset, battling through this bases loaded situation.
And now 3-1. Walk a couple of singles to load them up, and now back-to-back outs for the Oklahoma defense.
On a 3-1 count that she can tattoo, there's bases loaded.
Davis to second, Agbayani, and the Sooners get out of it. Bases loaded, nobody out, and no damage.
It really is.
10,000 strong in the house. Just spectacular for softball here, of course, at the home of the Women's College World Series, Devon Park. Looks a little different without the bleachers in the outfield yet in place. We'll, of course, have those for you in late May and early June.
The environment is still very electric. Those speakers going, and it's bedlam. You always know it's going to be a battle.
You're playing the MC Hammer pregame, you know it's going to be a special night. Ruby Malin back to work in the circle. 1-2. These two familiar with one another from their days out west. Of course, the Pac-12 no more as molded into Big Ten, ACC, Big 12. West Coast Conference. And it is another full count. Had a bunch tonight.
His first couple innings, Malin doing a good job of controlling the zone, even though she was going deep into counts, but some of these pitches now becoming more and more less competitive.
Yeah, this is the 6th one of the night for Malin.
Well, that's the other thing that Oklahoma does so well is they foul off a lot of pitches when they do get into this count, so they can be patient. In other words, foul off the pitches and be patient until a ball is
inning in a row. The last leadoff Walker scored on the Pickering home run. And here's Ilana Agbayani, doubled out to left center her first time up.
Oklahoma now is going to have the mindset that unless the ball is super sweet over the plate, they don't have to attack it.
Beverly will come out for another visit. There is some more activity in the Pokes pen. Here the Sooners, 90 of the 309 runs via the walk or hit by pitch. One of their 2 tonight via the walk. And they're approaching 200 freebies for the season.
Oh, that's pretty incredible when almost a third of your runs are coming from free passes by your opponent. You know you're doing a great job of taking advantage of every little thing your opponent gives you. Now over those 200 walks on the year, it's just hard to recover from that.
Here's the 1-0. Just 2 first pitch strikes in the last 10 batters for Ruby. Consider it a bunt. 3-0. Taking 3-0. Got a couple of pokes in the pen. Looks like they would be ready if called upon. That's Coots on the right. And now the go-ahead on base. Tying run in scoring position.
Well, you can tell this movement has lost the feel of some of those pitches. Trying to find that back as a pitcher. You know it's difficult at times when you lose that ability to pound that strike zone.
Here's Bella Emmerling, 379 this season with runners in scoring position. Taken all the way, making Ruby throw a strike.
Well, this is where Ruby needs other tools. She needs that fastball. She needs something else that she can go to besides the drop and the rise. If she's not getting the swing and the miss, and right there, Emmerling does her a big favor going after a pitch up in the zone.
It was a home run hack. See if Ruby gets her to go up there again. Ditto. 1-2. Not that time. Full count.
Throwing all rise balls to Emmerling. They come back with that drop ball. Emmerling fouls that off. And has that swing plane that comes down into the ball. That's why they're trying to get her to swing at that rise ball up in the zone.
To second base, the short way, and they'll get the force out at second. Unable to turn and fire to first.
Yeah, and Beth, I can hear the hesitation in your voice. It looked like a potential double play with Rosie Davis up the middle. So I don't know if there was just a little bit of lack of communication between Davis and Bloodworth, but You can see where Rosie Davis is, but the problem is that Bloodworth was well over in the 5-6 hole. That's almost something that Davis potentially can take herself.
Yeah.
Emily, being a right-handed hitter, gives her a little bit more time to be able to turn that double play on her own. But nonetheless, the Cowgirls get an out at second.
So the tying run now at third base. Cheney Helton, the pinch runner, over at first, and here's the 9-hitter Maya Bland with 1 out. Walked and scored in the second, and Helton will take second base.
And boy, the Cowgirls really lucky that that one didn't get away from them. Runner going up to second, and the throw from Hassler. Take a look at Davis is going to come up, and you can see the throw goes to Davis, almost gets past her. Right now, not a lot of communication going on in that infield. They need to be a little bit more prepared, knowing where each of their teammates are positioned and what the plan is.
Two-0 to Bland. Swing and a miss there. The home run hitter, Pickering, on deck. Swings through it. 2-2. Bias 417 with a runner in scoring position this year.
Big 3-run shot puts the Sooners on top.
And the carryover from the top half of the inning when the defense came up clutch. And some momentum into the bottom half, and helped by a couple of walks. And then the home run from the 9-hitter as Pickering pops it up. 2 down.
Well, I bet inning starts with 2 consecutive walks. They've just done such a good job of making teams pay when you put them on base. And you could just see can be caught by Godwin at first, but it needs to be a better throw.
Not out of the inning yet, and here's Ella Parker. No word yet from the official score as to who the error is charged to.
I think it has to be on the throw. I mean, granted, I think Godwin could come off the bag and catch it, but the runner's still safe.
And now they're going to say it's an E3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, E3.
Shows what I know.
So much for a
Yeah.
2-time Olympic gold, huh?
Yeah. Both of them could be better on that. Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Parker out of play. Ella singled in the first, walked in the third. Pokes went up 3-0, and now 5 unanswered from the Sooners.
Well, the Sooners are just good at not panicking. They know they give up runs early in the game. They've got plenty of game left to put runs up. Understanding they're going to make those adjustments second time through, third time through the lineup.
Well, Patty Gasso told us this week she loves the fight of this team. You know, it's a group that is still growing, that is still learning. They're built a little differently. Some nights they win differently than the last 4 years with all the changes in personnel. She says she's having a lot of fun, and this is the kind of night, this kind of environment for the newbies to learn how to handle the big stage.
100%. That's why these games are just so important. And the fun that Coach Gasso talked about was the learning, the coaching, the teaching. You know, the last couple years with an experienced squad, it was more managing.
And oh, by the way, still to come, Texas, Florida. Next week, they're in the Rhodes House at Alabama, one of the great softball environments. Should say this coming weekend. Have some of the action for you on the ESPN networks.
A lot of great matchups.
Full count again. Three and 2/3 for Ruby. And it's a 2-run third inning followed by a 5-run fourth. As Katie Coots will come on. We'll take a break and be back for more Bedlam in the bottom of the fourth. Virginia is coming on in relief, replacing Ruby Malin. 7-4 on the season, 3.99 ERA. Got a runner at second with 2 outs, and it's the pinch hitter Tia Malloy, the freshman out of Woodinville, Washington. .224 average on the season with 5 home runs. One of the big recruits in this freshman class for OU. Five runs across here in the fourth. Oklahoma State led 3-0. And now 7 unanswered for the Sooners.
Oklahoma able to get out of a bases loaded jam, just change that momentum.
Good changeup from Coots.
Coots' line as well. Walks have been a little bit of an issue, that control. Third pitch through the zone.
Or the grounder to first, and that'll do it. But an exit V ready, both with over 60 RBI on the season.
Yeah, they were outstanding as freshmen, and last year they got split apart a little bit in the lineup, and we're all like, they need to follow each other in the lineup like they did as freshmen, and they're back together just getting it done. But how about the pitching matchup? Tennessee, Texas, the flamethrowers, Cavan.
Can't wait.
Carlin Pickens.
Should be a fun series. Of course, Texas, winners of the Big 12 last year. Tennessee, winners of the SEC last year in the regular season. Texas, a winner non-conference tonight. So was Florida, and so was Florida State. And so many softball fans around the country, around the world, rooting hard for Kocha at Florida State in her battle against breast cancer that went public recently. Everybody pulling for Lonnie in Tallahassee. There's a ground ball to short.
Yeah, the softball
is retired.
Yeah, the softball community very tight, and when one of the own has some trouble, everybody rallies around to support him.
Carly Godwin. Part of the story for the Pokes at the plate. 6 left on base, just 2 for 12 with runners on, 1 for 7 runners in scoring position. And their early lead has disappeared. Back-to-back big innings for OU. Garcia staying busy at short, 2 down. Of course, now that the Final Four is in the books, it's Masters Week in Augusta. A tradition unlike any other for the 89th Masters Tournament. ESPN with exclusive first and second round coverage. We'll get you started tomorrow at 3 Eastern, and then ESPN Plus features whole and group coverage for all 4 rounds. Get your pimento cheese sandwiches ready, Smitty.
That's right. Always love watching the scenics, right? Not just the food people are eating, but the scenics, all the flowers, right? Springtime.
Oh, yeah. Green jackets. Do you have a favorite trophy or award that you won over the years? Any cool looking one? I mean, obviously the gold medals.
The gold medals, those were cool.
Yeah.
Some cups, you know, sometimes you get a cup. I think my favorite was I threw a perfect game in Japan, and the city that was hosting us basically took the scorebook and etched it. So my perfect game scorebook, yeah, so I would say that's my favorite.
Nice.
Don't know Japanese, but I can somewhat understand it. Exactly.
There's a 1-1 to Delgadillo. Of course, we're pumped down the road to the Women's College World Series. Me, you, Doza, Holly. Is this year 19, I believe, that we will?
That's right.
Consecutive years of calling a national championship. It's the longest running concurrent group out there.
It's an amazing event. Hundreds of employees from ESPN and around the city. The compound. And it's definitely a bucket list. If you're a softball fan, you got to come to the Women's College World Series.
There we are up there in the press box here at Devon Park. Hello, everybody.
Just a great environment. Love the fact that Patty Gasso, Kenny Gajewski get together with USA Softball and make sure that, you know, a midweek game, something like this can happen.
Sam Landry's already had a 9-pitch inning tonight, and should get another one right here. 9th pitch. Charging. Nelly. Another 9-pitcher for Sam Landry. 7-3 Sooners to the bottom in the coming weeks. Of course, notable wins with Tennessee and Arkansas. Dayton grounds out to first, 1 away.
Yeah, their non-conference strength of schedule for Oklahoma was above 200. Obviously, this game is going to help them. Conference RPI or strength of schedule, I should say, for anyone is going to be off the charts if you're in the SEC.
And those would all be quality wins, as many as they can get in the home stretch. I mean, the SEC has been so strong with the addition of OU and Texas. Top 4 in the RPI, 7 of the top 10. All 15 SEC schools are in the top 35 RPI.
Yeah. Well, and that's where the discussion becomes at the top, who's going to host. But at the bottom, you know, is their talk, the Missouris, some of the teams in the lower part of the conference right now, will they get in? And just because of the strength of schedule, you have to think if that RPI stays 50 or under, that it potentially would get them in. Obviously, assuming they're above 500 and all the other qualifications.
Agbayani a double and a walk tonight. Hey, here's this week's ABC Hockey Saturday matinee doubleheader for you. Alex Ovechkin will be with us, the new career scoring leader. It's the Caps and Jackets, and then the Rangers and the Canes coming your way Saturday. Double dip for you from the NHL as the regular season starts to wind down, and hockey and hoops. Big split this week. Downtown, the Thunder losing to the Lakers and then beating the Lakers. A bit of hysteria around the hotel downtown this week.
This a little bit.
I thought it was when you and I walked in, but then we saw the Laker garb and we're like, oh wait,
okay.
it's not us.
It's not us. Schneidmiller with the throw down. Rosie Davis slips a little bit, throw a little bit high.
A couple of stolen bases now tonight for the Sooners.
9th of the year for Agbayani.
Foul tip and stays in Schneidmiller's glove. 2 down.
Katie Coots picking up her first strikeout. See the way she gets underneath that pitch, a little bit of upspin on it, and just gets a swing and miss on it.
It's a 1 on and 2 outs. And a pinch hitter in the 9 spot, Hannah Core. So Maya Bland, after hitting the 3-run home run, well, she did her duty tonight. And with the wealth of outfielders at Patty Gasso's disposal, Core will take some swings here. Terrific story has come back from a pair of back surgeries. Keeps coming back into the lineup for OU. Junior out of Yorba Linda, California.
One of those Orange County bat busters that just do a good job of growing and learning in that system. Southern California.
Batting average has jumped from .211 last year to .343 this season.
Just a hard worker. Just
And that's 4 RBI out of the 9-hole tonight for OU.
yeah, the bottom of the lineup has been so strong for the Sooners. Hannah Core, favorite athlete, Mike Trout, goes up there hitting like him, getting that runner in scoring position in for the Sooners. Just gonna drive that ball the opposite way. And Agbayani just getting to the plate, coming to the backside. The Sooners celebrating everything. All those little accomplishments are always well celebrated with this program. A lot of drive.
Oklahoma, 6 of those runs got on base courtesy of errors and free passes tonight. And then, of course, the 2 home runs from Pickering and Bland. And here is Cassidy. 2-run shot in the 3rd. A hit streak now at 14 games in a row. She had a stretch at the end of last month, 15 consecutive at-bats reaching safely.
Yes. It was a week's worth of games where she was on base every at-bat. This ball just hit really hard, and Rachel Hathout out in left field is going to go top of the wall. Thinks it actually goes over the wall, but it bounces back in, so a big double for Pickering.
And that now brings the game-winning run to the plate. It would bring the run rule into effect for Oklahoma here in the bottom of the 5th. RBI singles from Core and Pickering, and here is McEnroe Marinas. 9 unanswered for the Sooners over the last 3 innings. From Coots. 2-2. Nelly's 0 for 3, did reach on an error in the 4th and scored. Sending flares to the fans down the right field line. Good scrap for that loose ball, kids. And the Coleman jersey comes up with it.
Look at, he's excited too. He's got the OU chain.
It's a good big sis there showing her support.
Nelly doing a good job at fouling off pitches. Waiting for something that's back inside the zone. Works herself to full after being down.
Waited on the change to swat that out.
And that's the pitch I think Oklahoma State pitchers need to use more of. They've got to figure out a way to change velocities, have something else to go to. We talked to Coach Rocha, Jen Rocha from Oklahoma, and one of the things she really makes sure that she's working on with her pitchers is just the ability to have separation and velocity as well as movement. Vertical.
3 Oklahoma, and the game winner stands at 3rd.
Ella Parker having herself a great night. 3 hits and away. Picks up another RBI.
Riley Zakay will be the pinch runner out at 2nd. But the only one that matters right now is Nelly at 3rd. And it will be another freshman that can walk it off at the plate, Gabby Garcia.
Hit back up the middle.
It's a run rule win in Bedlam, 12-3 Sooners.